Hello and welcome to Euphoria. This channel explores designing, creating and building models for a LEGO city. We will be exploring the joys and challenges of building official LEGO sets, making modifications to them, and designing and making your own buildings and other models. In this short series of videos, we're going to explore the sorting out and laying out of LEGO parts ready for a build. Keep watching to find out why you might want to do that. In this video, which is part 1, we're going to cover 10 benefits of sorting out and laying out your LEGO when building your LEGO models. We'll work out what knolling means and why it might be useful. Look out for the next video, which is part 2, where we'll cover 10 practical steps in the process of knolling. The art of sorting and arranging things in a regular layout is called knolling. It isn't confined to LEGO and can be used for lots of different things, from parts to tools to fashion items to desktop accessories. You see it quite often in catalogues, magazine articles and advertisements. I like to sort out and lay out all the LEGO elements for a build before I start the actual construction. It can be time consuming, but it can have lots of advantages. So what is knolling? Well, the term knolling was first used in 1987 by Andrew Cromwell, a janitor at Frank Gehry's furniture fabrication shop. At the time, Gehry was designing chairs for Knoll, a company known for Florence Knoll's angular furniture. Cromwell would arrange any displaced tools at right angles on all surfaces and called this routine knolling, in that the tools were arranged in right angles, similar to Knoll furniture. The result was an organised surface that allowed the user to see all objects at once. The technique's basic tenets are to only put out the things you need, to group all objects that are alike, and align objects to the surface they are on, or for larger objects, to the room they are in. The ideas have since been developed into a set of techniques for artistic presentation, often used in advertising, and for this purpose it is often called flat lay. For me, this is useful and a bit of fun, but some people treat it more seriously, and it can almost become a way of life. What has that got to do with LEGO? Well, sorting out and laying out the different parts that you need for a LEGO build has a number of advantages and benefits. There are practical benefits as well as psychological and emotional benefits. Here are 10 benefits of knolling your LEGO. Firstly, here are the practical benefits of sorting out and laying out your LEGO elements before you start your build. Benefit number 1. You gain familiarity with all the parts before you start building. That means you identify the parts and distinguish between those that look similar, and you can examine and understand parts that you may not have seen before. For example, some parts may look similar but are used differently. Some parts may have slightly different ends, be different colours, be left-handed or right-handed, or just look similar but are used differently. So, for example, can you tell the difference between these parts? Are the left and right-handed ones the same? How many of each are there? So that was quite easy. How about these? Some elements look very similar from some angles, but have studs or other features on the sides that distinguish them. How about these? Some elements may look the same from the top, but have a different underside, which means that they connect differently. How many of these are one colour and how many are a different colour? Did you spot that 2 are the wrong colour? So that's the major benefit of gaining familiarity with your LEGO parts before starting your build. On to benefit 2. You can check that you have all the parts required in the right quantities and colours. This is particularly helpful if you have an inventory of parts. At the back of each instruction booklet from LEGO, there's a list of parts, usually organised by colour, so that you can check you have all the parts needed to build the model. If you've bought parts, you can check that all the parts have arrived correctly. If you've bought a random set of parts, for example from a LEGO Pick-a-Brick wall, you can organise them so that you can count how many of which type you've bought. Benefit number 3. When you've laid out your parts, you can easily find a part that you're looking for. So it's much quicker during the build process to find a particular part, particularly if you've laid the parts out in a logical way. Benefit number 4. You can easily see how many parts of which types you have. If you are free building your own ideas from a set of parts that you already have, or if you're modifying a build from a set, then it's easy to see what parts you have to work with. When you're part way through a build, you can see what you have left and pick parts to use accordingly. This is particularly useful if you're making your own creation and want to use a limited set of parts that you already have. Benefit number 5. If you're rebuilding a section of your build, it can sometimes help to dismantle that section and to put the parts back where they came from, so that you can find them later, rather than having a pile of random parts. Knolling also has psychological and emotional benefits. It may not be for everyone, and some people find it unnecessarily time-consuming and may find it frustrating. But for others, it can be a useful discipline that provides a lot of satisfaction. So here are some of the psychological and emotional benefits. Benefit number 6. Sorting out the parts before a build gives you confidence that you know what the parts are and reassurance that you have all the parts to hand. Benefit number 7. It is quite a soothing and calming activity, and for some people it can be surprisingly satisfying and gratifying as an activity in itself, especially if you get satisfaction from seeing things laid out in an orderly way. In this sense, it's a bit therapeutic, like colouring in for grown-ups. Benefit number 8. Knolling actually increases the anticipation of building the set. Although some people like to dive straight in and start building, others want to get the most value out of building the set and enjoy the time spent in getting familiar with the parts and the build. Benefit number 9. Building with LEGO is a physical and tactile activity, so there's a physiological pleasure from handling the parts. Sorting and laying out the parts increases this activity. If you tend to only build a set once, rather than taking it apart and rebuilding it lots of times, then you may only be handling the parts once. This is especially true for complex models that you might want to put on display. Benefit number 10. It avoids the frustration of looking for a specific part when you're in the process of building. This can be really annoying when you want to complete a build, but you just can't find the part that fits. So be proud of your knolling. A nicely laid out set of objects, especially of different sizes and shapes, can be a thing of beauty. So take photos of your layout to look back on. I hope that gives you some insight into the art of knolling and why it might be of benefit. You may be able to see more examples of sorting out and laying out parts in my other videos. What do you think about knolling? Is it a useful discipline or a complete waste of time? Are there any techniques, tips or tricks that you use? Please let me know in the comments below. Please look out for part 2 of this series, which covers 10 steps for the practical process of knolling your LEGO. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and let me know why. If you didn't like this video, please also let me know why. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what you think and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos about LEGO modular buildings.